So we were just working and living our lives, raising our kids, and we decided we would go to a Christian conference at a local conference center.
And at that conference center, we listened to a speaker tell us day in and day out about giving our lives to God as a blank contract. And by the end, we were thoroughly convicted.
We were so convicted that on our way back to pick up our three kids, we were walking down and Kathy turns to me and says,
"So what are we going to do about that?"
And I said, "Wow, we really need to think about that." And then she said,
"What are we going to do about that?"
And I said, "Oh, wow, we really need to pray about that."
So I stopped him in the road, grabbed his shoulders and said, "No, what are we going to do about that?" And that began our life in missions. That night, we made a plan to leave, go serve overseas, offer ourselves to indigenous missionaries because we truly believed in what they were doing and the effect that they could have. And we just wanted God to use us in any way He could.
We ended up in Liberia, West Africa, where God used us in ways that we never expected.
Nor were we very well prepared for, we thought.
We weren't properly trained, educated, or necessarily even prepared. We just went.
And we got to see a church planting movement start under some training and direction that we were able to provide. And we, though we're there for a short time, we saw the great value of indigenous ministry.
After spending some time in Liberia, West Africa, we ended up coming back and with a strong heart for indigenous ministry, and that led us to start Global Fellowship.
This is where the work for world missions takes place. Yes, folks, you are in the international headquarters of Global Fellowship. And we founded it on several principles, of course, coming alongside indigenous ministries, but also we were convicted that we wanted to send 100% of the money that we raised to the missionaries, and we are still doing that today.
Yes, and we were told at the time, it's impossible, you can't do it. We said, well, let's see what God can do. And here we are 30 years later, it's still happening.
So our ministry began with a young, dynamic couple from India who had a passion to reach northern India with the gospel.
Susanta and Asangla Patra were young like us at the time and had so much passion for the gospel. And so we got behind them, alongside them, and God just began to open doors all over North India.
And then He miraculously brought to us other missionaries in the Philippines, Ray and Menchie Corpus.
Ray and Menchie Corpus and 100 Filipino missionaries coming along with them that we were able to partner with and help develop ministry for them.
This is very exciting. My name is Ray Corpus, and this is my wife, Menchie. And we are so glad to be able to just share with you our heart. We are involved in the missions movement here in the Philippines, reaching out especially to what we call unreached peoples. And we're so excited as to what God is doing in this country.
Then what came?
Jorge was next. Jorge and Maddie Vasquez in Baja California, Mexico. Jorge had a passion for migrant workers who were coming from the South to lead them to the Lord and then challenge them to go back to the place where they came from and take the gospel. And Songsak and Grace Parampuing Sakun in Chiang Rai, Thailand.
I'm so glad he said that. And in 1992, after 15 years of doing this ministry and watching it grow, God drew us to ministries in Europe, Eastern Europe, and missionaries that were doing a great gospel work there. We first went to Slovenia, I believe.
Yes, we were so surprised at the unreachedness of Europe. It's something that we in the West don't usually think about. As we continued to grow and God continued to bring ministries to us, we began to see that, we're growing older and we really need to bring younger people along with us.
First, Raymond and Brianne Langtat came alongside to help us and to work in the office. And then God called them to the mission field because they were so moved by the passion.
And God continued to bring young staff to us and give us the ability to grow even further. But our passion remained the same. And the passion was whether we're working through indigenous missionaries or sending Westerners to work alongside and under them, it is to take the gospel to the least reached places, the less than 2%, even less than 1% evangelical Christian.
And that remains our passion. That remains our focus, which is, it's narrow, but it defines us.
One of the blessings of bringing on young people is that As our kids grew, they got to see many missionaries coming through our house constantly. And so as our youngest daughter got married and began in ministry in different situations, she and her husband were drawn toward Global Fellowship and have joined us in the ministry.
It was a great day when they kind of asked, would it be okay if we joined Global Fellowship? So yes, it would be great.
Kathy and I are very excited about how Global Fellowship has grown and what the future of Global Fellowship looks like. And we are so excited to see how the staff and missionaries are leading this ministry into the future. And we would invite you to be a part of this.
We're confident that what he began with such a small thing will continue to grow by the grace of God and the power of the Holy Spirit, and we'd like you to join us.